Today, we are joined by David Snead and James Webb, and I am super excited to chat with you both about the Secure Hosting Alliance and some exciting new developments that are being worked on. Can each of you give us a quick intro on who you are and what you do?
So I'm David Snead. I am the director of the Secure Hosting Alliance. I am an attorney who lives in New Mexico, and I have a career in web hosting that goes back to 1999, which makes me feel very, very old.
And as far as I go, James Webb, COO of Big Scoots. I've also been in hosting for a number of years. I didn't know this about you, David, that you started in 99. I actually had my first small hosting company in 99 as well, selling FTP and shell accounts back in way back in the day on platforms with like, if you remember Exum and all that, or
Yeah.
and all that. So, yeah. So throughout my years, it's been really a focus on how do you bring quality support to hosting. That's really my main focus. We're all technical in this field, but really, it was about trying to uh, make a difference in hosting.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm part of the Secure Hosting Alliance is the focus on quality. And I think we'll talk a little bit about that. But the companies that I've worked with over the course of my career, that's been kind of a thread of them. So I'm glad to kind of continue that.
David, can you share the elevator pitch on the Secure Hosting Alliance?
Sure. So the Secure Hosting Alliance is a working group of the I2 Coalition, and it has really two primary focuses. The main focus is to level up the quality of the hosting industry by having hosting providers self-identify as meeting about four pillars of trust. So they're differentiating themselves from other hosting providers who don't provide the same level of quality. It also helps the internet remain a good place to do business by weeding out folks who don't meet the levels of quality that are necessary to be part of the Trust Seal program. The second part of the Secure Hosting Alliance is to create a sense of community in the hosting industry. That's something that the initial founders felt had kind of gone away since I don't know, in about the last 10 or 15 years. There used to be a sense among folks who were in the hosting industry that they all knew each other. And that kind of went away. And so one of our goals is to create a sense of community within the organization. In terms of advocacy, the advocacy that the Secure Hosting Alliance does is done through the I2 Coalition. The I2 Coalition has a policy group that works on policy issues that are important to web hosts and other internet infrastructure providers. The key thing that is going on with the Secure Hosting Alliance is that in early October, the initial group of hosts who have become certified by the Secure Hosting Alliance are going to release those names, and they're going to be adding the trust seal to their websites.
Just to add to that, I remember going through those days, David, where going back to like 10, 15 years ago. I remember getting together in Chicago. There was a strong hosting element, community in Chicago, and literally just we go out to the shows and we would all just hang out with each other and share. We're all in the trenches. We're all trying to figure out things and trying to make the world a better place. And you're right. There's some of that has been lost, and regaining that through organizations like Secure Hosting Alliance is a great thing, and I see that even in our meetings that we have. I also want to say that, like, for me, it's about making the world a better place. And if we don't hold, like, no one's going to make the change for everyone else. It's you have to take responsibility yourself. And so by getting companies involved early on, like, we're the ones that are going to make the change for the better, right? We can't wait around for other laws to be passed or other things to happen. We have to be willing to stand up and say we're doing the right thing for customers, for the internet in general. And this is a way of just taking charge of that and utilizing that community for the better forces of good.
Yeah, and to pick up on that, there are really two important aspects of the certification program. One is customer facing. So there are requirements in the certification program that allow or that demonstrate that the host is customer oriented. And that is a really great differentiating factor for those hosts. The second piece is exactly what James was talking about, making the internet a better place. Most hosts are oriented in that direction. But what the trust seal does is it demonstrates to the general public the host's commitment to making the internet a good place to do business and also a safe place to work.
So hosts decide to do these tests internally or adhere to these standards on their own. They can be part of the program. Is there a way that the end user can audit that the standards are actually being met?
So there's not an end user audit piece, but what they can do is there's an ability to click on the web host's trust seal and it goes to the I2 Coalition's page so they can verify that they're actually certified. And on the certification page, we have the requirements for certification. So let's say one of the requirements is that the web host presents their contract to the customer before they buy the services. If a customer were to determine that that didn't happen, they have the ability to email the I2 Coalition and say, this host didn't give me a contract before I bought the services. Can you look into that?
That's one element that really resonated. I know we met a few weeks ago on that. David finalized some of that language, and that to me is like a major differentiator because we may see a lot of different audits and associations and other trust seal things going on out there, but what really matters is like what happens after you have that trust seal set, right? It's the accountability factor that SHA is holding each one of the participating companies to in that process, and having a reporting function by the general public, and then having a process where like a hosting company can rectify that. Like it doesn't matter. Like like you have if you want the seal, you have to maintain compliant and adhering to the policies of the group.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of certification processes, this one is completely member driven. And what that means is hosting companies are holding each other to account and making sure that that the other members are meeting their obligations. So when we talk at our meetings, the different providers have the ability to say, hey, I think that this is a best practice. We should all be doing this, and that's a much different standard than a different type of working than certification organizations usually use. Usually, those are top down, where an organization says, "Here are the standards that you must abide by." This is the industry itself deciding what is a high level of practice in doing business.
Well, James and David, you guys are both part of a panel at CloudFest USA. Without giving away your entire panel, what can attendees expect to learn or walk away from with your session?
So there are a couple things. They're going to learn quite a bit about transparency and accountability, particularly why that is important for for security and for creating a secure environment. They're also going to learn about how companies facilitate uptime and reliability. And then the other piece that I'm very focused on is the lawful and ethical handling of data. That's also something that we're going to talk about on our panel.
Who in particular needs to hear this conversation? Is it agencies, product owners, hosts, or end users?
All of the above.
So
If you use the internet, right?
yeah, everybody should come and bring their family and friends. One of the things that I think is interesting about the trust seal, and it's something that I really hadn't thought about until I started going to some word camps is how important this is for agencies, right? So one of the things the Trust Seal does for agencies is it allows them to demonstrate to their customers that they are using trustworthy and ethical providers to help them provide their own services. So if there was one entity that I would focus on that doesn't necessarily come to these kinds of talks, it would be the agencies.
And I would say from my experience, and DMCA is the most common thing you hear about, right? But like I would say that from my experience, agencies know as little about law and, as a business owner. It doesn't. They're all in the same pot essentially, right? And so we had a incident the other day where had an agency like really upset because they had a DMCA claim against them, and they were really worried because it's going to take down one of their customers' sites, and it was not DMCA. It was not a valid DMCA. So like you have to have a hosting partner that truly understands how to take care of those and work on in everyone's best interest without being a lawyer sometimes.
Yeah, and what, just kind of picking up on and amplifying one of the things that you're talking about, something that one of the issues that really becomes a barrier to purchasing for some hosts is governmental requests for data, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty around how hosts respond to requests from law enforcement or for different governmental entities for data that they maintain on behalf of their customers. The Secure Hosting Alliance has a requirement that there be processes in place for dealing with that so that customers can know that when a governmental entity comes and asks for their data, that the host has actually thought about how they're going to respond so that the requests are handled in kind of a thoughtful and law-abiding manner.
Pivot now to the broader CloudFest US experience. This year, it's organized by a brand new team, new city, new venue. What are your first impressions of the new CloudFest experience?
So
You go
I'm
first. Yeah.
So I'm super excited about this Cloud Fest. What I have noticed in my interactions with the team and with the organizers is there's a level of enthusiasm about the industry and the topics that I haven't seen for a long time, and as somebody who for good or for ill, has staked their career in this industry. It's kind of nice to see people excited about, to have somebody say, I'm really excited about a hosting panel. And I think to myself, really? You're excited about hosting? Hey, that's great. So that's something I really like.
I'm excited about just in general. It seems like it's you know the show is evolving, right? And so we've seen that. We saw that in Switzerland, or was it Germany? No, it was in Germany.
Germany.
Sorry, I've been traveling a lot this year. So saw it in Germany, and like there was a whole 2 days of WordPress, right? And so you're starting to see these other elements kind of creep in, and the show's evolving. And so I really like seeing that.
What's the one reason you'd tell someone to not miss it?
You're going to get insight from your colleagues that you will not get just sitting at your desk reading a blog.
For me, this goes back to the point David made earlier about community. This is the start of this, right? This is how you get out from behind your desk and go interact with individuals, challenge thought, learn new things, see different perspectives in general. That's what you're going to get at the show. Yes, you're going to see sessions, but you're going to meet people that I know people at CloudFest that I've known for 20 years, right? And it's a great, like, build that community, have a different perspective, expand your horizons.
Perfect. That's all the reasons in the world to go. Well, James and David, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. And I hope to see all of you at CloudFest US. There's a special discount. I'll have the code and link below. be there or be square and be sure to join James and David's panel. I'll certainly be there. I'm really excited for the discussion. So thanks again for joining, and I will see all of you there.